Hello again. I wanted to do another video on what I do when I put Color Street nail strips on. The process I go through picking out the different sets I'm going to be using, and then going through the process of putting all the nails on and completing the process where I finish them and seal them and put everything back away. So this is kind of a beginner's video, start to finish, all the way through. I am going to skip over some of the tools and supplies that I use that I had in my last video. So this one will be just much quicker, much more simple, and we'll just get right to it. So my nails are all filed and ready to go. The cuticles are pushed back. I've buffed them, filed them, prepped them as much as they're going to be. So the next step will be to pick out what I want to use and then clean them. Right before I put the nail strips on, I will clean them with the alcohol pads and we'll go from there. So the supplies that I will be using now, I have a little pair of scissors that I use to trim off the strip because I try to use one strip on two nails if possible. I have my two cuticle sticks, one with the rubber tip, and that's really good for smoothing down the nail strip onto your nails. This one is a little bit harsher, a wooden cuticle stick, and I use that just to go along the edge and trim off anything if it's a little bit too wide. And I have a regular nail file also that I use, and this is a pretty rough grit, but I use this to trim off the nail strip that is too long. I don't like to pinch it off. I don't think that ever comes out really good for me, so I usually try to use the nail file to really clean that edge. I have a pair of big scissors just to open the packages, easy peasy. And so let's get into it. I did just see on Pinterest where you can find lots of inspiration nail ideas, but there was a double ombre. So they had taken this set, which is out right now. It's called It Takes Tucson, and it has this ombre. Typically it goes, top to bottom. So this is going left to right. And I really like that. It's very different. So what they had done is they had gotten a purple and a blue, and they did the ombre, double ombre across their fingers. So it was a purple to the ombre, purple on one side and blue on the other side to a blue nail, and then the ombre the other direction, and then back to a purple. And I just thought that was really cool, very different. So the two colors that they used with that, one of them is this one, and this one was just recently out. It has retired. It is called 1 in 4. It was one of the awareness shades that they did. Really beautiful deep purple. A little bit of shimmer to it, a little bit of glitter. There are a couple of other sets that were out recently that you could use instead. There is one called Ibiza Nights. This one was out not that long ago, I believe. It's also very glittery, would work just fine. I have another one. This one's called Cosmic Cloud. This purple would work well as also. This was in a stylist exclusive. So if you run into that where you really want a color and it's not available now, check eBay. There's lots of things on eBay. So if I was going to do this, I would go with this purple. The other one that they mixed it with was Aspen Sky, which is a light blue, and I don't have that one, so that's why I'm not doing this one right now. I will pick that one up. It is available right now. It is a cream finish, so there's no glitter or shimmer or anything to it. It's a flat color. So they had put a little bit of this. This is a clear overlay called Glittersweet, and this one I believe is still out right now too. And this is a great one. I have this one. I bought like 4 packages of it because everything always needs glitter. So I use this one a lot, but because I don't have the blue, or I don't have anything that will work for the blue with this, I'm going to do a different double ombre. So one that I do have that is also a little bit older set, but you can still find this one on eBay. And this one is called French Rivera. And it's kind of got the same right to left ombre versus, top to bottom. And I really like it. I think it's super shimmery, super pretty. So I'll be mixing this with a silver and an aqua blue. And I have a perfect silver. It is called Tinseltown. And I have used this one before, but I know that there is, this one is still available. So I'm going to do this one in the middle. My middle finger will be this one. And then I will do a blue on the outside. I have a couple of different options. This one is also out right now. This is a Pedicure, How Swede It Is. And, you know, the pedicures are the same as the regular manicure nails. They're just a little bit different shape. They're a little bit more square on the ends, and there's usually wider shapes, obviously for your toenails rather than your fingernails, but it's the exact same nail polish strip. It's not, there's no difference at all. So I'll just be picking out whatever nails work for that. And another one that's still out right now, if you don't have the Pedicure but you still want to do this one, Space Case, also looks really good with it. I would use that if I didn't have the Pedicure one, and then I would put the Glittersweet over it to, you know, to have some shimmer so it's just not flat. But I'm not going to need that. So I will be using these 3 sets. So the blue will be my pinky and my thumb. This will be my middle finger, and then my first finger and my ring finger will be this, but I'll have the ombres going different directions. So let's start there. So I'll open up the package. I usually take that strip off too. It just doesn't always work. So for me, these ones open up all the way, which is nice because they've got a lot of sticky glue. So these packages, they come with your nail strips. Sticky. And I always pull all this stuff up. I hate all the gummy stuff. Anyways, so I will pull out, I believe this is my first finger, and I think this is my ring finger. So I'll pull those out. I use the alcohol pad that comes with, and then it also comes with a nail file, and I don't know, these are just, I don't know, I don't get a lot of use out of them, so I usually just toss them. And I'll save the packaging because I'll be using that after to put everything back together. Here's the next one. Open this guy up. This one is the same thing. Sticky alcohol prep pad, nail file that I don't use, and the strips, again with the gummy. Just hate that. Oh, one other supply I didn't mention at the beginning, of course, is where we're started, the paper towel. So all these little gummy bits and the stuff that I'll pull off of the nail strips, all of that will get contained by this paper towel, and then it'll get tossed at the end. So I just hate this gummy stuff. Okay, so I have 2 alcohol prep pads now, and my last one is Tinseltown, and this one I have used before. So this one I've already opened once and used, I believe, at Christmas time. Yep, looks like I took the pinky right off. So, and then I sealed it back up afterwards. So this one I need this for my middle finger. So we'll be using that. And then this didn't have any other supplies in it because I pulled those out the last time. Okay, so the first thing I do, if you hadn't seen my video from before, the first thing I do before I get started on anything is I always lay out my strips. So I'll start with my pinky here, go towards my thumb, and I'll have them all set out in front of me so I know what I'm doing before I even get started. I don't want to have to go back into packages and reopen stuff as I'm halfway through or I need another piece or something like that. So I will lay them all out. And I also take both strips. So some of these, you know, my nails are pretty short and I can usually use one strip for 2 nails. And if I can, that's great. you know, I pull both strips off. I'll set it here. I'll use as many as I need. And if I don't need it, then I can put it back in the package and seal it back up at the end. So let's see. Start here because I said pinky. It's pinky and thumb. Now I've not used a toenails pedicure set before, so I don't know what my what the right sizes are. You know, after you do this for a little while, you kind of know by looking at the package. This is my pinky. This is my first finger right here. You know, you kind of get an idea. I do know that these sets, the pinky is narrower on the top than the bottom, so I always have to use 2 pinkies because I need this wider spot down here. And my thumb is in between these 2 sizes. So if I always have to choose the larger size. If you find yours kind of stuck in between 2 different sizes, always choose the larger size because you can trim off on the edges. So we'll see. Since I'll be using a pedicure on my thumb, I'll probably have to go with something that's a little bit too large. So you can see I just barely sliced off the edge of this package. You want to leave as much packaging as possible so that when you stuff everything back in, you have lots of room to reseal. So I will open this guy up. I'm gonna guess this is my pinky. Huh. Maybe not. Maybe I have to go to I think I have to go to the wider one. I think that this is gonna be, yeah, I'm gonna have some space. So again, always go with the wider, and these seem like they are very one-sided. So again, this is my first pedicure set I've ever opened and used. So I'm going to probably need both of these. The overlay is coming right off there. That's okay. So I'm going to grab that pinky and set it there. Now, I do need one more. I do need my thumb. I'm going to guess probably this guy. Yeah, so I'm going to go with the second one in. And again, because these don't seem to be double-ended, you'll see with the other strips they are double-ended. These are only single-ended, so I'm probably going to have to use both of those. Now I'm going to take all my little bits, shove them back in the package, and I will be, when I'm done, I will be using my flat iron to reseal this package, and I'll show that to you. So this poor guy is coming apart. Okay, so we'll set that guy aside. Okay, next, I'll do this one since it's going to be 2 nails as well. So I will open this guy. So this, I'm going to be doing my thumb. I'm going to be doing my ring finger and my first finger. So this is the typical manicure set. These are, they pull off right here. They're not straight on the bottom, so they are double-ended. Some of them are slightly different shapes. These guys are rounded. These last 2 strips are wider at the bottom than the top. So if you end up using this, I think it'll work for my first finger, but it's really close. So I always go for the slightly larger strip. I will always choose a strip that's slightly too wide and trim it just to make sure. So that's going to go this way. So the blue is close to the blue, and I'll do a silver in the middle. And then my ring finger, I don't think it's this one. We're going to go with that one anyways. I think this one is too, let's see. Well, actually, these are both pretty much the same size on the bottom. It's just a little bit wider in the middle. I'm going to go with a wider in the middle. Yeah, I'm going to go with a wider in the middle, just to be doubly sure. So I'll take both of these, and this one will have the ombre going that way. So hopefully it won't get too loud. I do have my window closed, but I see there's construction going in the complex today, so somebody seems to be vacuuming. So again, save all the bits, put them all back in, and I can do this again. And you know, typically I'll open as many as 6 or 7 sets, depending on what I want to do with my nails. I have a lot of different sets, and I like to be very creative. So if I have to go through 6 or 7 sets, open up, you know, tons of different stuff, that's fine. They all reseal, and I've not run into anything that has really dried out too much. The reason why you want to kind of get them back in as soon as you do open a package, it starts the drying out process for them. And I have used strips that are a little bit too dry, so you'll see kind of when you go along the edge, typically on the sides of your cuticles, when you're putting the strip down, it will not really adhere or stick. It'll kind of lift a little bit on the edge. And I've never had to rejuvenate strips. I know people steam them to kind of make them rejuvenated. I actually just, if you hit them with the alcohol prep pad when you're done, you can actually, it kind of reactivates it, and kind of sticks it down. So I don't think I'm going to run into that. The oldest set I have is this set, but it still seems pretty fresh. So, you know, all of this is real nail polish. It's not, it's real nail polish. You take it off with nail polish remover. So it is possible for it to dry out, but I just haven't run into anything that has been too terribly dry that you just can't use it. So I will reopen after I closed this one the last time. And this guy, and you can see from the base too, this is a little bit older set. You know, they have different colors. They have different types of packaging. The packages have come in 3 different sizes. Actually 4 different sizes. Some of the petites came in their own size and shape. They also some of them, the older sets, do come with 2 sets of the alcohol pads. Some don't. I'm going to probably need a total of 3 pads. I usually use 2 to clean at the beginning and then 1 at the end to seal. So I always have, not handy though, I'll have to grab that. I always have a set, an alcohol prep pad, a few extras from all the other sets I've opened. I also will buy alcohol prep pads, and they're just basic alcohol pads that you can get from your drugstore. Anyways, let me get going with this guy. So I know my middle finger is probably this big guy. Yeah, because that one next to it was my ring. So I'm going to go with the big one, and that will be my middle finger. So now that I have everything laid out, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put nails on. So this plastic is actually kind of heavy, much different. Doesn't bend quite as easily. So the nice thing about all of these too is that they are all labeled on the back. So as long as you keep your packaging kind of all together, you know, you're wondering what the name of the set was, if you want to rebuy something, or it gets separated from its packaging and you don't know, at least, you know, if you kind of keep everything together, you can figure out what went with what. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Again, 2 tools. These are my main tools. And I'll have a little pile of garbage here on the side. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of these alcohol pads and clean my nails. The alcohol pads do dry out pretty quickly, and they do kind of become saturated with oil. So my fingers are clean. You know, I don't have any lotion or anything on my hands, but you still get a little bit of moisture in your natural nails that comes through. So a piece of glitter. So you do want to make sure that you clean these. I know some people will skip this step because they feel like their nails are already really dry. Nope, don't skip it. It's just a little alcohol. It's not that drying. Honestly, the nail polish remover is a lot worse. So I will just hit those. I am going to hit it one more time because it starts to feel It starts to feel a little saturated with oil. So, actually I'll start on this end and work back the other way. Sorry for the vacuuming, that is super annoying. It always happens. My last video, there was somebody backing up, like a delivery truck, and I hear my chat going off as well, so whatever. It's life. Okay. So I'm all ready to go. You want to start on your pinky and work towards your thumb on both hands. And that's because you use these fingers a lot. Actually, I'll do a little bit more. Since you use your first finger and your thumb mostly as tools throughout this process, you do really want to make sure that the pads of your fingers are clean too, so you're not spreading more oil. I'm going to pause for a moment before I get started and see if that vacuuming will end. I will be right back. Okay, so we're ready to go. Let's get these nails on. So let's start on our pinky. And again, I haven't used these guys before, the Pedicure shapes, so this is a new thing for me. So we'll peel off that outer strip. This one's already coming off, but all of them have that outer strip. And then we'll peel the strip itself off of the paper backing. And then you're just kind of left with this little strip. I will often push back my cuticle one last time. Make sure there's nothing hiding out in the corners there. And then drop this guy on. I try to get as close to even overlapping the back of my cuticle or the bottom of my cuticle, even if I have to trim it off, because I can use the tool to kind of shove it underneath the edge of my cuticle a little bit. So this strip is just a touch too wide, but we're going to be okay with that. And you can kind of see right now it's sitting up on my cuticle. That's fine. We're going to make this work. So I take the rubber tipped tool, and this, it's already kind of breaking right there. This strip seems a little thick, but I will kind of push back my cuticle and almost tuck the edge of that strip in underneath. Now you can start to see it's already breaking away, because it's not going to stick to it's not going to stick to my skin for the most part. It's going to stick to only nail. So anything that's cuticle or anything else, you'll want to take that off. So this is kind of soft. It does work for pulling off a little bit of it, but I'd always feel like it's too soft. So that's where I go in with the slanted edge of the wooden stick. And you don't want to drag this, because that will actually tear your strip and you'll end up with a jagged edge and maybe a rip through the strip that you weren't intending. So you just kind of go along your edge like this, perforate really to trim, and then you can kind of start to dig that off, like just like that. So that actually looks really pretty good. It's a little bit long, but there is only one end on these guys, so I can't, it's too short anyways. I couldn't have pulled it off and put it on my other pinky, but you know, the edge on this end is straight, so I do have to take that off. Right here, you know, the edge of my nail is just inside and the edge of my nail is on top, so I'm actually going to use my nail file to get in here and clean up this edge. So I will run this along the side and the top of my nail to trim that. That falls off. This set does kind of seem a little bit dry. Maybe a little. It is adhering down, but it just kind of seems a little thick and a little stiff. And that's kind of what I felt when nail strips are too dry. They're a little bit less pliable. They feel a little stiff and thick. So I'm actually kind of cleaning up the edge of my nail because it wasn't quite round like I like. But that's it. So I use the nail file to trim off the excess I've got a nail done. There is a little bit of space here. It did tear a little funny right there, but honestly, I'm fine with that. It's mostly colored. It's what I need. So there we go. There's nail number 1. I'll go back and do the other side. This has the strip that already came off. I'll peel it off the paper backing and stick it down. Now, if you can get one side to line up perfectly, so you only have to trim one side, that is kind of ideal. But it also depends on, you know, where your design is. If it's a solid color, obviously that would be great. But this one I placed a little bit down on my cuticle, and I'm not going to be able to tuck that in. See how it's bent up a little bit? I'm not going to be able to tuck this one in. I left a little bit too much space. So what I'm going to do is use this tool to break or perforate that. I probably need to get in here with the wooden tool. So I will just break and perforate. So you can put strips on totally sideways. You can put strips on at a diagonal. You can put strips if there's a design in the middle and you want only the middle to show on your strip. You can place it anywhere along your nail that you want. You can trim off the bottom, the sides, the end, whatever you need. So of course, if you're trimming it, it's not going to be as clean or perfect, but it's pretty close. It's really pretty close. So yeah, I just a little overdid myself just a little bit here at the bottom. There we go. So some people will kind of just go along the edge and pinch it off like this. I just feel like that's always jagged. It's always weird. It never comes off cleanly. I've had it rip in the wrong spot. I just don't like it. I'd rather take a nail file, get it super clean along the edge, and then I don't have to think about it. Okay, there we go. 2 nails down. Easy peasy. So you can see how the paper towel is handy. Junk everywhere. Okay, so let's go in with this guy now. I might need both of these strips because my nails are a little bit longer right now than they have been in the past. So we're going to peel off that outer, peel off the strip. And then again, we want to make sure we have the ombre going the right direction. So we want the silver towards the middle. So we're going to place this guy back. Oh, computer. Maybe, we'll see. Again, over the cuticle, not quite right. So while this is hanging off like this, I'll trim it right at where my nail is. Try to preserve as much of that strip as possible. Pull off the tab. And you can see it did stretch a tiny bit. You can see you can pull these a little bit, stretch them a little bit. We're going to see if this guy will fit. If it does, yay. If not, then that's why we have 2 strips at the ready. Yep, it's long enough. That works. Fantastic. All right, let's go back in and handle this first one. It is a tiny bit too wide, but we're gonna squish down those sides anyways. Squish it down onto as much nail as we can. So again, you don't want to just drag this along here because you will tear it in ways you don't intend. The strip feels a little bit thinner, maybe more pliable than the first one. It seemed a little thicker. So it is easier to trim this like I want. I'm going to go along the sides, especially if your nails are long. And mine are fairly squarish. You can do these strips on any shape nail. You can do coffin nails. You can do rounded, squares, whatever. It all works the same. You just want to make sure you get it all stuck down and trimmed neatly. My nails are usually pretty short. They're a little bit longer right now. But yeah, they can go on short nails, long nails, natural nails, acrylic nails, anything you've got. They will stick down to everything. It's nail polish, so anything that you could normally use nail polish on, you can use these strips on. So now I'm just tucking this one back, pushing my cuticle a little bit. This guy is going to not need any trimming because it's stretched a little bit, got a little more narrow. And I think also that my right hand is slightly wider than my left hand. The nails in my right hand are slightly wider than the nails in my left hand, but who knew? So just kind of go along, take that off. So kind of be a short-term set. I do a lot of really fun decorative sets. I always start with a set that is the inspiration set. So if it's holidays, or I just did a baseball nails set, which I loved, or if I'm doing leopard or something else, I'll start with an inspiration set and then build from there based on, you know, the colors and glitters and other things that I have. So I didn't need both of these. I'm going to stick this guy back in here. I apologize if the camera gets a little, bump the tripod a lot, and the focus goes in and out depending on how close I am or not. So I will try to make sure that you can always see what's going on. But I'm watching my hands. I'm not watching the camera as much. So middle finger. Keep going. Peel and peel. And I think that this one is... Actually, I think all of them. I always pick a wider strip than I need. So push that back, set that on. Pretty close. The sides are right. The bottom is not, but that's okay. So just get that pressed in a little bit. Trim this guy off. Attempt to use it on the other side. Maybe. My nails are, that one did break this week, so. This one definitely feels dry. It feels stiff. And you can see I am handling these, so it's not really adhesive. It is adhesive, but it's not that sticky. And if you touch it a couple times, it doesn't seem to matter too much. So I'm going to try to peel this guy off and set it down. It is long enough, but I'm going to try to get it on there straight. And that one is too crooked the other way. Let's go back somewhere in between. And, you know, a lot of people worry about, you know, how easy are these things really to use. It's really like sticking a sticker or sticking a stamp on an envelope. If you can handle putting a stamp on an envelope, you can handle this. They're very easy to use, and they're pretty forgiving. As long as you don't push it down too hard, you can peel it back off and put it back down a couple of times before it'll start to lose its adhesion. But again, if you get it on there and at the end you hit it with the alcohol pad, it will activate it and it will stick. So I've had some though that are just a little bit dry because I do buy a lot of retired sets, and the alcohol still isn't enough. It's still pretty dry, so you kind of have to hit it twice with the alcohol. But let's get this guy cleaned up. So, and I'm really only filing in one direction, and that's from the top of the nail strip to the back, away from my nail. See, is that kind of lifting up? Yeah, see? There you go. That one's lifting up. So when I'm done, we will hit that with the alcohol pad, and I'll show you that it does stick down. Okay. So yeah, I guess the Tinseltown. Well, the Tinseltown I had used before. So I mean, this isn't. It's like regular nail polish. It's got a shelf life. So if you're thinking about buying some of those crazy overpriced retired sets that I've seen on eBay going for $300, just know it's probably 3 or 4 years old, and it might not have a lot of life. So just be prepared, buyer beware kind of thing. I don't buy those types of sets, but I do, you know, I'll buy a set that's a couple of years old, depending. There's some really cool stuff. They've done some really neat things, especially around the holidays. The holiday designs always go really, really well. So, ooh, not so pretty, but it's glittery, so we're going to go with it. Let me see. I think I just kind of botched that one. I might want to pull this off before I get too attached to it, but let's see how I did. So there's a little bit of a jagged edge. I was a little bit rough pulling that. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to leave it. It's not perfect, but that's okay. See, you can see it's not always perfect. But look, we're already done with 6 nails, so we'll keep going. Save you. Okay, so now I'm going to go ombre on the first finger. These nails are a little bit longer, so we're going to see. And this one I'm going to want to make sure that I get going the other direction, the ombre in the other direction. So this one I will be pulling off that tab first. I usually leave the tab on if I'm going to use the same strip for both fingers, because it just gives you something to hold on to that's not the strip itself. But that's okay. So I'm going to pull off that tab and then put silver going towards the blue. Which is the opposite direction of the other one. Again, a little too wide, but not bad. Trim that off. Give it a little tug and stick it down on this nail. Slide it over just a little bit. Ooh, don't stick it down too hard. I've done that before too. Stick it down, you think you got it. Oh, no, I got to move it. And you pushed it down too hard and it rips when you're pulling it back off. So especially fresher strips, really brand new sets, fresh sets will definitely break if you pull too hard. So looks like we did pretty good here. A little wide on the top there. That one I finally got right. A little wide on the side. I'm going to use the nail file to trim this guy off. On the sides and the top. Yeah, because a lot of times my nail is pretty pulled back on this side, away from my fingers, so I have a lot more, I guess, raw nails showing. Let's see. Okay. Oh, a little funny here on top. Like I said, you can see it's not perfect all the time, but I really like that. So far, so good, huh? Okay, let me do little stick. So to finish these up, which we will be doing soon, again, I'll hit that with the alcohol pad, and seal up all the open sets with my flat iron. And then you really don't want to wash your hands or, get these nails wet for about a half an hour. It's not, it's not going to ruin them. See, if you don't perforate and then try to pull away, if you perforate and tug, you rip. So you really have to take your time if you have something that's a little bit too wide like this, and don't pull something away because then you get kind of a yucky edge. But yeah, so don't wash your hands if you can for about 30 minutes. Just let them kind of cure. So typically what I'm doing is, if I'm going out and I want to do my nails before I go out, I will shower, I will do my makeup, which I apply a lot of my makeup with my fingers, so I will have to wash my hands before I leave the house. So I will often get 100% ready and then go do my nails and then leave. And I think for me that just works because then I don't have to worry about washing my hands right before I leave out the door, and it'll give me a little bit of time before I, sit down to dinner or whatever and do have to wash my hands. So doing pretty good, not having to use a whole lot of strips here. All singles except for the ones that are single-ended. So, yeah, it's not perfect, but we're going for effect here. So I really like this blue. This is really beautiful. Nice turquoise. So now we're doing our thumb. Again, this is a one-ended strip. So I only get to do my thumb, and it is very square. So like I said, on the other sets, I know, maybe that will be long enough. We're going to try. On the other sets, I do know that my thumb is too wide for the second strip in and too narrow for the first strip in the sets. But again, I would rather trim something off on an edge like this than have something not reach as far as I want it to. So this is actually going in just right. Tiny bit wide on one end right here. And I'm going to see if I can use this on both thumbs. This is that kind of thicker strip. So this tool is enough to break it because it's thick. It's a little more rigid, I guess. So this tool is enough to pull off or break through that edge without having to use the wooden stick. So let's see if I can get this right on the edge. This doesn't really have a tab you can pull off. Let's see. Nope, that's not going to be long enough. Okay, no problem. We'll finish this guy up. So if you do end up with some ripped edges along the side, you pulled a little too hard, you've got a rip kind of going across your nail, you can stick this back down. Just stick it back down, and you don't have to pull the strip off and use a different strip. It won't be 100%, it won't be perfect, but it will heal down kind of close enough, especially after you hit it with the alcohol pad, and it will look decent enough if you I mean, you can always pull it off and put another strip on, but if you wanted to not have to do that, or that was your last strip, you can use something that's half. You can also use some of the ombres and have them go the other direction. You have the ombres start up even higher than the bottom of your nail. These are very easy to layer. They do stick down to each other very, very well. The only thing I would do, though, is if you were going to use one of these like if you wanted the glitter street for a tiny bit more overlay. So this is a completely clear strip with glitter, very little glitter, but it is completely sheer. And I would go in and hit the alcohol pad over your strip that's on your nail, and then put, to kind of seal that one, and then put the overlay on, and then hit that one with the alcohol pad after as well. So you're going to hit it twice, but you want each one to kind of cure onto your nail. So that is so cute. This is such a cute idea. I'm glad I saw it. So last nail. I do a lot of overlays. I do love glitter, obviously. You can see how extra I am. So everything I do pretty much has glitter on it. But I also, you know what? Eek. Oh, that was kind of silly. Shouldn't have pushed down that hard. I wanted to just back that one off a little because I didn't want to have to trim off that much from the cuticle because it wouldn't look nice. And actually, that's a little bit better placement. So, perfect. Yeah, because these seem to be very much more narrow, and then they kind of widen as they go away. So I'm going to pull some of this off. And then we'll clean it up. So I do like doing a lot of overlays. I love mixing things up. I do want to do more videos like this where I'm inspired by something and then what process I go through in picking out what goes with it. So, so many different options, especially if you get a little out of control buying retired sets like I have on eBay, because there's a lot of stuff out there. And if you do shop on eBay for these, make sure you just watch how things are going or check completed auctions. Don't see something that's amazing and jump off and buy it without kind of checking like what the price is, what it's gone for in the past. You can look at completed auctions, and you know, it's up to you if you want to overspend, but I'd recommend doing a little homework every time you see something that you like. Oh no, well, that wasn't right. All right, now you get to see what happens when you screw up. It's already really kind of sticking down, but so I just bumped it with a file, and I don't want to screw up my other nail, so be careful. So I went a little too heavy on the top, and it caused, I don't know if it's a tear or just a miss. So this is what happens when you don't spend a little extra time and pay a little extra closer attention. Okay. All right, well, there we go. So now my only other option is the whitest one. So, I mean, you can do that. You don't have to be stuck to the sizes. I have used the thumb on, you know, other fingers because it had a design that I wanted, and I had to use it. So it's nice that they come in all these different shapes, but you don't have to be beholden to the right size nail on the right nail, the right size strip on the right size nail, if you can find something else that works. So I'm going to do a better job sticking this down, and one side is going to be way too wide, and then I'm actually going to use my bigger scissors to trim some of this off. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this a little better this time. So because it is so ridiculously wide, and this is what happens when if you had to use a thumb like on your first finger or something like that, you want to kind of get one side lined up, unless there's a design you need it to be down the middle or something. But it is easier if you can get one side lined up and then push it down onto as much nail as you can. You see this one's already starting to tear where I'm pushing it down onto the nail as much as I can. I've got a lot of space here, and just gonna finish up. Let's make sure that we use this tool, do it right this time. So yeah, this probably does take a little bit longer than doing your nails. Painting, obviously, because you got to put it on, then you got to clean it up, or, you know, trim the edge, or you don't. It does take longer than just painting your nails, but, you know, if you're painting your nails, it's a base coat, it's 1 or 2 coats, and it's a top coat. It's a lot of curing and waiting in between. And if you're doing designs, I mean, that could take as long as it takes. And you can't, I don't know, some of the really intricate designs here, you're not going to get those super cute designs in nail polish, or you are, but you're going to have to either be very talented or know somebody that is. The nice thing about this is it literally is sticking a sticker on and then trimming off the edges. I almost did it again. Getting a little aggressive on that edge, but we're going to go with that. So here we go. All right, so we're done with the nails. If you can hear my computer in the background, that's my family chat. And they're going to be the ones watching this video, so hey, family. Okay. Got a little something under the nail. Good enough. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my hot iron, my flat iron. So it's just a Remington, nothing special flat iron. You can get it on... you can get these on Amazon. You can see it doesn't even hardly touch all the way. You have to squeeze it. It is digital, so I do like that. I have it set at 370. So it's okay if you don't see it. The temperature is in there. It's heating up, so we're going to give that a few seconds to heat up, and I will close up my packages. While I'm waiting for that to heat, I'm going to use my couple of alcohol pads I grabbed and finish the nails. So again, what you're looking to do, you can kind of hear that squeak. You want to hear that. That is what you want to hear. So that is the strip kind of activating to its rawest form. So what was it? Was this one that was peeling up a little bit? All right. Right? Yeah, I think it was. So you want to rub it. It only takes about 1 or 2 swipes, but you want to hear that squeak, and you want to make sure you go along the edges and the ends specifically. They have a bit of a silky feeling to them, and you want to kind of break through that, and you'll feel them almost become more squeaky clean than, you know, they're already smooth, but then when you do this, they kind of get sticky, squeaky clean. Or it loses this, it's not stickiness. I always have a hard time describing it. It's a silkiness that you want to remove, and you really want it to be that squeaky clean. So this doesn't seem to have a lot of alcohol left in it, so I'm going to use another pad to do my other fingers. Yeah, and I mean, they're dry. They're not, there's nothing there, and you're not removing anything when you make them squeaky, but you want to get them to the squeaky. So again, open this guy up. And hitting them with the alcohol, it's a little bit like of a solution that sort of goes into it and sort of activates it. So it literally sticks down better to your nails. So some of those edges that I had that were a little bit lifting, they would have remained that. They're never going to stick more the longer that they're on your nails. So hitting them with the alcohol gives them a chance to sort of resaturate and then stick. one edge was a little lifted. I want to make sure I got that really, really good, and that looks like it's sticking. So if they lift after a couple of days, I don't think you can really stick them back down because they're going to have some dirt and, you know, probably soap and water and stuff have gotten in there. So you're going to want to really just replace it. You know, take it off, do it again, or put another set of nails on. So that is that. So these are done. Now I'm going to take my flat iron and I just go right on the edge of the strip, put it in there for about a second, and it melts it and seals it. So it's not, it can't be opened. You just want it to fuse. You don't want it to melt. You don't want it to be on your iron so long that you have, you know, plastic on your iron. You don't want that. You just want that edge to fuse. So these had already been open. And I want to leave, again, as much package as possible so that when I go to reopen this and use this again, it won't, I still have plenty of package to reseal it. So that is everything. So thanks for watching. I will be back next week. I do want to do the baseball nails again because I am going to a baseball game next week. That is such a cute ombre. I just love it. It's not perfect, it's not clean, but the effect is there and I'm really happy. So thanks for watching.